Remember how you and Wallow were crying? You and Wallow were crying. Oh, my son got killed. Oh, you were crying. Now you talking about snitching. You goddamn right I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Dang, I got family. I got willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Why don't play with me, man? So far up your ass, you'll floss your teeth with my shoelaces, nigga. Play with me, bro. Don't play with me, bro. Don't play with mine, bro. Don't play with mine. Just don't play with mine.
Man. So far up your she'll floss your teeth with my shoelaces, __. Play with me, bro, don't play with me. Bro, don't play with mine, bro, don't play with mine. Just don't play with mine. I ain't. Charleston White thought he could keep poking the bear without consequences. For years, we've watched this provocateur target T.I.'s son, King Harris, with increasingly vicious attacks. From death threats involving Trayvon Martin to constant mockery of the young man's every move. But when you mess with a father's child, you're playing with fire. T has had enough. The Atlanta legend is stepping up once again to defend his family. And this time, his message to Charleston White is crystal clear. Some boundaries should never be crossed. This is about to get explosive. Charleston White thought he was just stirring up his usual drama when he went on a recent tirade, brutally attacking King Harris and declaring he is nothing. You say I'm a nobody. Your son a nobody. Now. 3. But this time, the controversial YouTuber may have bitten off more than he can chew. Sources suggest White's increasingly desperate attacks stem from his own jealousy watching a young King Harris command respect and attention that White never achieved even in his so-called prime. The 48-year-old provocateur, fresh off legal troubles and a declining platform, seems to be lashing out at King's natural charisma and growing influence. Now, word on the street is that Charleston White is allegedly afraid to come online, realizing he may have finally crossed a line that even he can't talk his way out of. T.I. didn't hold back when he addressed Charleston's latest breakdown, and he's made it clear that he sees right through this desperate act. The Atlanta rapper expressed his disgust, explaining that Charleston is so miserable in his own life that he's attacking children just to stay relevant. T.I. pointed out that White is a 48-year-old man with nothing to show for his existence except stirring up drama about other people's kids, emphasizing that White's jealousy stems from watching King at 20 already command more respect, opportunities, and future prospects than the provocateur ever had or ever will have. Had to say about my son what some grown man had to say about my son, man. Could somebody please just pull me up to speed, man? Just pull me up to speed. How some grown man had some say about my mother's son. Just pull me up to speed on that, man. Just pull me up to speed on that, man. What? Grown has wasted his whole life doing absolutely nothing. Got something to say about my son at the beginning of his adult life. I want to. The Atlanta legend didn't stop there. Dismantling White's credibility piece by piece, T.I. reminded everyone that this is the same man who testified against his own friends, got arrested for pepper spraying cats, and gets beat up at comedy shows before calling the police. He noted how White is now online crying about his son because he knows King represents everything he'll never be. young, talented, and actually loved by his family. T.I.'s assessment was brutal, but accurate, exposing how White is trying to be relevant in the worst way possible by attacking successful black families because his own life is a complete disaster. But it was T.I.'s final warning that sent chills through anyone listening after being patient and restrained for so long. The protective father made his position crystal clear with a simple but powerful message. No gang, I ain't no gang. I got family. I got willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Why don't play with me, man? Don't play with my mother child ever. The warning was unmistakable. White's desperation had pushed him into dangerous territory, and T was done playing games. But White's attacks on King Harris aren't just coming from a place of jealousy. They're coming from a man whose world is crumbling around him. The self-proclaimed truth-teller peaked in 2023, but those days are long gone. And his time in the spotlight has expired, never to return. White's desperate attempts to stay relevant have been overshadowed by a string of serious legal troubles that have exposed him for what he truly is, a washed-up provocateur with nothing left to lose. In October 2024, White was arrested in Tarrant County, Texas on charges of animal cruelty and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The animal cruelty charge stemmed from allegations that he hurt a cat by pepper spraying it, a level of cruelty that shocked even his most dedicated followers. He was held without bond at the Lon Evans Correction Center, a clear indication of how seriously authorities were taking these charges. But that wasn't the end of his legal nightmare. In February 2025, White was arrested again on aggravated assault charges and held without bond at Fort Worth Area Corrections Facility. Though he was released a few days later, claiming the charges were dropped, the pattern was clear. White had become a repeat offender whose legal troubles were mounting faster than his declining relevance. The man who once commanded attention through controversy is now more known for his mug shots than his opinions. Sources close to T.I. suggest that the Atlanta legend is prepared to resort to any measure necessary to keep leeches like White out of his and his family's life. T.I. has made it clear that he won't tolerate anyone threatening his children, especially not a man whose own life has become a cautionary tale of wasted potential and self-destruction. I put my foot so far up your ass, you'll floss your teeth with my play with me. Bro, don't play with me, bro, don't play with me. The irony is staggering. A man who snitched on his own friends is a teenager who now cycles through arrests for animal cruelty and aggravated assault. Somehow believes he holds moral authority over King Harris. White's chaotic resume marked by courtroom confessions, jail stints, and viral meltdowns makes his judgment of any young man, let alone one working to forge his own path, look absurd. It's audacity disguised as commentary, and nobody is buying it. The truth about White's rise to notoriety reveals a pattern of chaos and controversy that stretches back decades. Born in Fort Worth, Texas in 1977, White's life has been marked by violence and dysfunction from the very beginning. At just 14 years old, he was involved in a robbery That resulted in the M of Michael Levy, leading to his conviction and 7 years in juvenile detention. White lost his right eye in a childhood accident and grew up in a fatherless home, creating the perfect storm of abandonment and rage that would define his adult persona. These attention-grabbing stunts are perfectly up his alley because controversy is literally all he knows. He bursts on the social media scene not through talent or genuine advocacy, but through shock value and inflammatory comments about dead rappers like DMX and George Floyd. Nobody kept track of where he actually came from because he exploded into relevance through pure toxicity, bypassing any legitimate path to influence. What makes White's attacks on young people like King Harris particularly disturbing is that it reveals a twisted psychological pattern rooted in his own unresolved trauma and jealousy. Despite founding Height and claiming to mentor youth, White consistently targets successful young black men, particularly those from stable families. Everything he never had. Growing up without a father and dealing with abandonment issues. His obsession with attacking rappers' children stems from his own deep-seated resentment. Forged those who achieved what he couldn't. Genuine respect, family, stability, and success without having to tear others down. White admits he felt unloved, unwanted, and rejected as a child. And now he projects that pain onto young people who represent everything his broken upbringing denied him. The man who spent his formative years in juvenile detention for M can't stand watching King Harris navigate young adulthood with opportunities and family support that White never experienced, which is why he can't seem to leave successful young people alone. The Charleston White vs. T.I. saga didn't start as a calculated attack. It began as the desperate flailing of a man whose relevance was already slipping through his fingers like sand. By October 2022, White had built his entire online persona around shock value and controversy. But he was running out of targets who could give him the reaction he craved.